Did you know that by 1918, half of all the cars on the entire planet were Ford Model Ts? That's not a typo. Half. It's one of my favorite pieces of car trivia. Before this car came along, automobiles were expensive toys for the rich. They were complicated, unreliable, and built one at a time by skilled craftsmen. If you were a regular person, a farmer, a factory worker, you got around with a horse and buggy. Henry Ford looked at this and had a revolutionary idea. What if everyone could own a car? He didn't just want to build another car, he wanted to build car for the great multitude, as he put it. The Ford Model T, which first rolled out in 1908, was the answer to that big question. It was simple, it was tough, and most importantly, it was affordable. Ford achieved this through the moving assembly line, a concept that changed manufacturing forever. Instead of workers moving around a stationary car, the car moved to the workers. This made building a Model T incredibly fast and cheap. The price dropped so low that a family with a modest income could finally dream of owning their own automobile. It wasn't just a machine, it was freedom on four wheels, connecting rural towns to big cities and changing the very fabric of American life. This car, lovingly nicknamed the Tin Lizzie, was designed for the roads of its time, which is to say there weren't many good ones. Most roads were little more than dirt tracks or muddy trails, so the Model T had high ground clearance to get over ruts and a flexible suspension to handle the bumps. It was built like a tractor, strong and dependable. You could fix it with basic tools you'd find in any barn. People used them to plow fields, power sawmills, and of course, take the family for a Sunday drive. It was more than a car. It was a utility vehicle for a growing nation. Its impact was simply staggering. The Model T mobilized the workforce, created suburbs, and sparked the creation of a national highway system. It fueled a whole new economy of gas stations, motels, and roadside diners. For nearly 2 decades, from 1908 to 1927, Ford sold over 15 million of them. You could have it in any color you wanted as long as it was black. A famous line that was true for many years because black paint dried the fastest, speeding up production. The Model T didn't just join the automotive world, it created the modern automotive world as we know it. By the mid-1920s, the world that the Model T had helped create was starting to pass it by. While the Tin Lizzie was still dependable, it was looking and feeling old. Competitors like Chevrolet and Dodge were offering cars with more style, more comfort, and more features. They had more powerful engines, smoother transmissions, and came in a variety of beautiful colors. The public's taste was changing. They didn't just want a car that could get them from point A to point B anymore, they wanted a car that did it with a little bit of flair. Henry Ford, who loved his Model T, was reluctant to change, but even he could see the writing on the wall. So, in a move that shocked the industry, Ford shut down its entire production line in May 1927 to design a completely new car from the ground up. For 6 months, the world's largest car company didn't produce a single vehicle. Everyone waited with bated breath to see what Henry Ford would do next. The pressure was immense. When the new car was finally unveiled in December 1927, it was a sensation. It was called the Model A, a name that signaled a fresh start, just like Ford's very first car from 1903. This wasn't just an update, it was a total reinvention of the Ford automobile. The Model A was everything the Model T was not: stylish, modern, and user-friendly. It was designed by Henry's son, Edsel Ford, who had a much better eye for aesthetics. The car had graceful lines, a lower stance, and was available in an array of colors like Niagara blue and Arabian sand. It looked more expensive than it was, which was a huge selling point. Ford had learned that people wanted more than just basic transportation. The Model A was a statement that Ford was back in the game and ready to compete in the modern era it had helped to launch. It was an immediate and massive success. People lined up for blocks just to get a glimpse of the new car at dealerships. Ford took over 1 million orders in the first few weeks alone. The Model A proved that Ford could adapt and innovate. It offered a level of sophistication that was previously unheard of in a low-priced car. It had more power, better brakes, and a standard sliding gear transmission that was much easier to operate than the Model T's tricky planetary system. The Model A was the perfect follow-up act, a car that kept the Ford promise of value while meeting the rising expectations of the American driver. When you park a Model T next to a Model A, the differences are immediately obvious. The Model T has a tall, boxy, almost utilitarian look. It's a machine built for a purpose. In contrast, the Model A is lower, longer, and has more curves. It looks like a car in the way we think of one today, with a design that considers beauty as well as function. The Model A came in a wide variety of body styles, from sporty roadsters to elegant town sedans, offering customers a level of personalization that the one-size-fits-all Model T never did. The A was simply a more fashionable and refined automobile for a more sophisticated time. Under the hood, the story is much the same. The Model T had a simple 20-horsepower four-cylinder engine. It was reliable but not very powerful, getting the car to a top speed of about 45 miles per hour if you were brave. The Model A also had a four-cylinder engine, but it was a brand new design that produced 40 horsepower, double that of the T. This meant the Model A could comfortably cruise at 55 to 65 miles per hour, making it far more capable of keeping up with traffic on the newly paved highways. It was a significant leap in performance that drivers could feel instantly. The driving experience was like night and day. Driving a Model T is a real skill. It has 3 pedals on the floor, but none of them is a gas pedal. That's a lever on the steering column. You have to manage the throttle, the spark advance, and a complex planetary transmission. The Model A, however, introduced the control layout we still use today. A clutch pedal on the left, brake in the middle, and accelerator on the right, with a standard 3-speed manual shifter on the floor. Anyone who could drive a modern manual car could learn to drive a Model A in minutes. It was safer too, with 4-wheel mechanical brakes instead of the T's rudimentary rear-only brakes. Inside the cabin, the improvements continued. The Model T was basic to the extreme. Comfort was an afterthought. The Model A, however, was designed with the driver and passengers in mind. The seats were more comfortable, and the interior was more spacious. It was the first Ford to have safety glass in the windshield, a huge innovation that prevented injuries from shattered glass. It also came with features that were luxuries just a few years earlier, like a speedometer, a fuel gauge, and an electric starter as standard equipment. It offered a level of convenience and safety that made the Model T feel like a relic from a bygone era. Despite all their differences, the Model T and Model A share a powerful and unbreakable bond. They are both fundamentally Ford cars, built on the principle of providing incredible value for the money. Both were designed to be durable, reliable, and easy to maintain for the average owner. Henry Ford's vision of a car for the masses was the guiding star for both vehicles. The Model T introduced this idea to the world, and the Model A updated it for a new generation. They represent 2 chapters of the same incredible story, the democratization of the automobile. The similarities run deeper than just philosophy. Both cars were built with a rugged simplicity that has allowed them to survive for a century. You can still find parts for them today, and a dedicated community of enthusiasts keeps thousands of them on the road. They were both powered by simple, robust 4-cylinder engines that were designed for longevity. Both featured a simple ladder frame chassis and solid axles, a testament to Ford's focus on strength and durability over complex, fragile engineering. They were cars built to last, and their continued presence in parades and car shows today is proof of that enduring quality. The Model T's legacy is that it literally changed the landscape of the world. It was the catalyst for mass mobility, a tool that built modern America. Its importance isn't just in its mechanics, but in its social and economic impact. It was the right car at the right time. The Model A's legacy is equally important. It proved that a company could successfully reinvent itself. It showed that affordability and style could go hand in hand and set a new standard for the low-priced automobile market. The Model A saved Ford from becoming obsolete and ensured the company would thrive for decades to come. Today, both the Model T and Model A are more than just old cars. They are icons of American ingenuity and ambition. They tell the story of a time of incredible change and progress. For collectors and enthusiasts like me, they are rolling pieces of history that are an absolute joy to drive and preserve. They remind us of where the automotive journey began and how far we have come. The Tin Lizzie put the world on wheels, and the wonderful Model A gave it a reason to enjoy the ride. Together, they form the foundation of the car-loving world we all share today.